The merchant threw the gold coin back at Mansa Musa's feet. "I don't want it," the man said. Musa stared at the coin in the dust. This had never happened before, not once in his entire life. He was the richest man in the world. He was the king of Mali. And someone just refused his gold. "What did you say?" Musa asked. The merchant, an old Egyptian man with a grey beard, crossed his arms. "Your Majesty, I said I don't want your gold, not anymore." Around them, the streets of Cairo were going crazy. People were shouting, running. A woman screamed that bread now cost 50 gold pieces. 50. Yesterday, it cost one. Musa's advisor, Abu Bakr, grabbed his arm. Hit like if this story has your attention. Comment where you're listening from. I love seeing how far these stories travel. And, if you don't want to miss the next one, subscribe and stay connected. "My king, we need to leave. Now." But Musa couldn't move. He couldn't understand what was happening. 3 months ago, he left Mali with 60,000 people. Soldiers, servants, wives, scholars, and slaves. Everyone who mattered. He brought 80 camels, and every camel carried 300 pounds of pure gold. He was going to Mecca to pray. And he was going to show the world how powerful Mali was. Every city he entered, he gave gold away. Handfuls of it, bags of it. He threw gold coins to children. He gave gold bars to scholars. He paid his soldiers with so much gold, they couldn't carry it all. In every city, people cheered. They called him the Golden King. They said he was blessed by God himself. But now, in Cairo, something was very wrong. "Explain this to me," Musa said to the merchant. "Why don't you want my gold?" The merchant laughed, but it wasn't a happy laugh. "Because everyone has gold now, Your Majesty. Everyone. The beggars have gold, the children have gold, even the dogs are sleeping on piles of gold." "So?" Musa said. "Gold is gold." "No," the merchant said. "Gold is only valuable when it's rare. You've given away so much that it's worthless now. I can't buy anything with it. The farmers won't take it. The bakers won't take it. They want silver. They want copper. They want anything except gold." Musa felt something cold in his stomach. Something he'd never felt before. Fear. "How much gold have I given away?" he asked Abu Bakr. His advisor looked sick. "Too much, my king. Far too much. Tell me the number." Over the last 3 months, across every city we passed, about 10 camel loads. Maybe 3,000 pounds of pure gold. 3,000 pounds, 10 camels worth, gone. Just gone. Musa had thought he was being generous. He thought he was showing the world how great Mali was, how blessed he was, how much God loved him. But now people were angry. A crowd was forming around them. Not a happy crowd, an angry one. "You ruined us," someone shouted. "My life savings are worthless now." Another voice yelled. "I saved gold for 20 years, and now it won't even buy a loaf of bread." Abu Bakr pulled at Musa's arm again. "My king, we must go. This is dangerous." But Musa stood his ground. He was a king. Kings didn't run from crowds. "I gave you gifts," he shouted back. "I was generous. I shared my wealth." "You shared too much," the old merchant said. "Don't you understand? When everyone has gold, no one has gold. You've destroyed the economy of Egypt. You've made prices explode. Poor people can't afford food anymore. Rich people's savings are worth nothing. You did this." The crowd pressed closer. Some people were crying. Others looked ready to fight. Musa's hand went to his sword, but Abu Bakr stopped him. "Don't," his advisor whispered. "There are thousands of them, and only 60 of us here. The rest of our caravan is outside the city." "Then what do we do?" Musa asked. "We leave Egypt, fast, before this gets worse." But leaving wasn't simple. Musa's caravan was spread across 3 different camps outside Cairo. They had been in Egypt for 2 weeks, giving away gold, meeting with scholars, and visiting mosques. Everyone in Cairo knew who Musa was. Everyone knew where his camps were. And everyone knew he still had camels full of gold. "My king," Abu Bakr said quietly, "people might try to rob us tonight." Musa's blood went cold. Rob him? Rob the king of Mali, the richest man in the world? But then he looked at the crowd, at their angry faces, at their desperate eyes. They would try. Of course they would try. He had made gold worthless, but he still had tons of it, and people were angry enough to take it by force. Send word to all the camps, Musa ordered. We leave at sunset. Tell everyone to pack quickly. Tell them to be ready to move fast. Abu Bakr nodded and ran off. Musa stood alone in the street, surrounded by angry Egyptians. A young woman pushed through the crowd. She was holding a baby. The baby was crying. Please, she said to Musa, do you have any silver? Any copper? My baby needs milk, but the milk seller won't take gold anymore. He says gold is worthless. Musa reached into his robe. He had gold coins, lots of them, but no silver, no copper. He never needed silver or copper before. He was the gold king. I only have gold, he said softly. The woman's face crumpled. She started crying too. Then she walked away, holding her hungry baby. Musa felt something break inside him. Not his pride, something deeper. He had thought he was doing good. He had thought he was blessed. He had thought his wealth was a gift from God that he should share. But he had destroyed these people's lives. Your Majesty. Musa turned. It was his chief scholar, a wise man named Muhammad from Timbuktu. Muhammad, Musa said, tell me the truth. What have I done? Muhammad looked around at the chaos, at the angry crowd, at the crying mother walking away. You've learned an expensive lesson, my king, he said. You've learned that wealth is relative. Gold is only valuable because it's rare. You made it common. You destroyed its value. Can I fix it? Musa asked. Maybe, Muhammad said. But it will take time, years, probably, and it will cost you everything you have left. How? You'll have to buy back the gold, remove it from the economy, and you'll have to do it at higher and higher prices, because the people who have gold now know you need it. They'll make you pay. Musa's mind was spinning. Buy back gold? Him? The gold king? He was supposed to give gold away, not buy it. But Muhammad was right. That was the only way to fix this. How much will it cost? Musa asked. Muhammad was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, everything, my king. It will cost you everything. The sun was getting low. Sunset was coming. They needed to leave Cairo before dark. But Musa had one more question, the question that scared him most. Muhammad, he said, we're going to Medina next, then Mecca. If I keep giving away gold there, will the same thing happen? Muhammad nodded slowly. Yes, my king. It will happen in every city you visit. Everywhere you go, you'll destroy the economy. You'll make gold worthless. You'll make prices explode. You'll make people suffer. So I should stop giving gold away? Yes, but, Musa's voice shook. If I stop giving gold away, people will think Mali is poor. They'll think I'm weak. They'll think I was lying about how rich we are. I know, Muhammad said. I can't look weak, Musa said. I'm the king of Mali. I came here to show the world our greatness. If I stop being generous, I'll look like a fool. Muhammad put his hand on Musa's shoulder. My king, you have a choice. You can keep your pride, or you can stop hurting innocent people. You can't have both. Musa looked around Cairo one more time. At the chaos, at the suffering, at what his generosity had created. Then he heard shouting from the north, loud shouting, fighting. Abu Bakr came running back, his face covered in sweat. My king, one of our camps has been attacked. People are trying to steal the gold. How many people? Musa asked. Hundreds, maybe thousands. And they're armed. Musa's hand went to his sword again. Then we fight. No, Abu Bakr said. We run. If we fight, people will die. Lots of people. And we'll lose anyway. There are too many of them. I will not run from a mob, Musa said. Then you'll die here, Abu Bakr said. And so will everyone with you. Is your pride worth that? The question hung in the air like smoke. Was his pride worth dying for? Was it worth getting his people killed? Musa thought about his wives, traveling with the caravan. He thought about his scholars, who came to learn and teach. He thought about his soldiers, who trusted him to lead them home safely. No, he finally said. It's not worth that. Then we leave. Now, they ran through the streets of Cairo as the sun touched the horizon. Behind them, they could hear more shouting, more fighting. The city was tearing itself apart. And it was all because of gold. When they reached the first camp, it was chaos. People were grabbing what they could. Camels were running loose. Someone had set a tent on fire. Leave the gold, Musa shouted. Take only food and water. We're going, His people stared at him like he was crazy. Leave the gold? The king of Mali? Telling them to leave gold behind? Now, Musa roared. They moved. Fast. Within an hour, the entire caravan was heading east, away from Cairo, into the desert. Behind them, the city burned. Or at least it looked like it was burning in the orange sunset light. Musa rode at the front of the caravan on his best horse. Abu Bakr rode beside him. We're still going to Mecca? Abu Bakr asked. Yes, Musa said. I made a promise to God. I'm going to keep it. But my king, if we keep giving away gold in Medina and Mecca, I know, Musa said. I'll destroy them too. They rode in silence for a while. The desert was cold now that the sun was down. Behind them, 60,000 people followed, confused and scared. How much gold do we have left? Musa asked. Abu Bakr did the math in his head. We lost 10 camel loads in the attack. We gave away another 10 in Cairo and the cities before. That leaves us with 60 camels, 18,000 pounds of gold. 60 camels, 18,000 pounds of gold. Enough to destroy every economy between here and Mecca. My king, Abu Bakr said carefully, there's another problem. What? We can't buy food anymore. Not with gold. People won't take it. And we have 60,000 people who need to eat. The cold in Musa's stomach turned to ice. He had created a world where the richest man alive couldn't buy a loaf of bread. What do we do? He asked. Abu Bakr looked at him with something like pity. I don't know, my king. I honestly don't know. As they rode deeper into the desert, Musa realized something terrible. His journey to Mecca was supposed to be his greatest triumph. The moment when the world saw how blessed he was, how powerful Mali was, how much God loved him. But he had turned it into a disaster. He had destroyed economies. He had made people suffer. He had made gold worthless. And the worst part? He still had to pass through Medina. He still had to reach Mecca. He still had thousands of miles to go. And every mile, he'd have to choose. Would he keep giving away gold and destroy more cities? Or would he stop and look weak? Could he fix the damage he'd already done? Or was it too late? Behind him, his caravan followed into the darkness. 60,000 people who trusted him, who depended on him, who believed he knew what he was doing. But Musa didn't know anything anymore. He was the richest man in the world, and he'd just learned that wealth could be a curse. Gold could destroy just as easily as it could build, and pride could cost more than any amount of treasure. As the stars came out above the desert, Musa made a decision. When he reached Medina, he would do something he'd never done before. Something that would shock the world. Something that would save the economies he'd destroyed, but destroy his reputation forever. He would have to borrow money. The Gold King would have to beg. 3 weeks later, Mansa Musa stood outside the gates of Medina, and he was afraid. Not afraid of enemies. Not afraid of thieves. Afraid of himself. Afraid of what he might do to this holy city. My king, Abu Bakr said quietly, the gates are opening. They're welcoming us. Musa could hear music, drums, people cheering. The whole city was celebrating his arrival. They didn't know yet. They didn't know what happened in Cairo. How much gold do we have left? Musa asked. 60 camel loads, Abu Bakr said. 18,000 pounds. We haven't touched it since we left Cairo. Musa nodded. In the desert, they'd learned the hard truth. Gold was worthless when everyone had it. But food and water? Those were priceless. They'd barely survived the journey from Cairo to Medina. They'd traded jewelry for water. They'd traded fine cloth for dried meat. They'd begged merchants to accept anything except gold. When we enter Medina, Musa said, I want the gold hidden. Cover the camels. Tell everyone in our caravan not to show any gold, not even a single coin. Abu Bakr's eyes went wide. My king, people will ask questions. They'll want to see your wealth. That's why they're celebrating. Word has spread that the richest man in the world is coming. I know, Musa said. But I won't destroy Medina like I destroyed Cairo. Then what will you tell them? Musa took a deep breath. The truth. They entered the city slowly. People lined the streets, cheering. Children ran alongside the caravan. Women threw flowers. Men shouted blessings. The governor of Medina, a man named Hassan, waited at the city center. He wore his finest robes. He had a huge smile on his face. Mansa Musa, Hassan called out. Welcome to our holy city. We've heard stories of your generosity. We've heard you gave away tons of gold in Cairo. The whole world is talking about the Golden King. Musa climbed down from his horse. His legs felt heavy. Governor Hassan, he said, I need to speak with you, privately. Hassan's smile flickered. Of course, Your Majesty. But first, won't you greet the people? They've been waiting all day to see you, to receive your gifts. There it was. The expectation, the pressure. Everyone expected gold. Musa looked at the crowd, at their happy faces, at their hope. In Cairo, those faces had turned angry, desperate, violent. Governor, Musa said firmly, we need to talk. Now. Something in Musa's voice made Hassan stop smiling. This way, he said. They went to the governor's palace. Hassan led them to a private room. Abu Bakr and Muhammad came with Musa. Everyone else waited outside. What's wrong? Hassan asked. You look troubled. Musa sat down heavily. He felt old, tired, like he'd aged 10 years in 3 weeks. Governor Hassan, he said, I need to tell you what happened in Cairo. He told the story, all of it. How he gave away 3,000 pounds of gold. How the gold became worthless. How prices exploded. How people starved because they couldn't buy food. How the city nearly rioted. How they had to run away in the night. How they lost 10 more camel loads in the attack. Hassan's face went from confusion to shock to horror. You destroyed Cairo's economy, he whispered. Yes, Musa said. I didn't mean to. I didn't understand. But yes, I did. Hassan stood up and walked to the window. He looked out at his city, at his people celebrating in the streets. They're expecting gold, he said quietly. Everyone in Medina knows you're here. They know you're rich. If you don't give them anything, I know, Musa said. They'll think Mali is poor. They'll think I'm a fraud. They'll think I was lying about how rich we are. Yes, Hassan said. And worse, they'll be disappointed. Angry, maybe. I know, Musa said again. But I can't give away gold. I won't destroy Medina like I destroyed Cairo. Hassan turned from the window. So what will you do? This was the moment. The moment Musa had been dreading for 3 weeks. I need to borrow money, he said. The room went silent, completely silent. Even the sounds from outside seemed to fade away. You, Hassan couldn't finish the sentence. I need to borrow money, Musa said louder. Silver, copper, real money that people will accept. I need it to buy food for my caravan, and I need it to send back to Cairo, to help fix what I broke. Abu Bakr looked at the floor. Muhammad closed his eyes. They both knew what this meant. Hassan walked back to the table slowly. He sat down. He stared at Musa like he was seeing a ghost. Mansa Musa, he said carefully. You're the richest man in the world. You have 60 camels loaded with gold outside this city right now. And you want to borrow money? Yes, Musa said. Do you understand what people will say? What they'll think? Yes. They'll say you're broke. They'll say Mali is poor. They'll say you're a liar and a fraud. They'll say the Golden King is really a beggar. Every word hit like a punch. But Musa didn't look away. Let them say it, he said. I'd rather be called a beggar than destroy another city. Hassan leaned back in his chair. He studied Musa's face for a long time. You've changed, Hassan finally said. 3 weeks ago, you were the proudest man alive. Now you're ready to humiliate yourself. 3 weeks ago, I was a fool, Musa said. I didn't understand that wealth can hurt people. Now I do. Hassan nodded slowly. How much do you need to borrow? Muhammad spoke up. Based on our calculations, we need approximately 50,000 silver dinars. 30,000 to feed our caravan until we reach Mecca and return home. 20,000 to send to Cairo to help stabilize their economy. Hassan's eyes went wide. 50,000 dinars? That's an enormous amount. I know, Musa said. And I'll pay it back, with interest. Whatever rate you set, I'll pay it. But how? Hassan asked. If gold is worthless. Gold isn't worthless everywhere, Muhammad explained. Only in places where Musa flooded the market. Back in Mali, gold is still valuable. We'll send gold home. We'll convert it to other goods there. Then we'll send those goods here to repay the debt. Hassan rubbed his face. This is the strangest conversation I've ever had. The richest man in the world, asking me for a loan. Will you help me? Musa asked. Hassan was quiet for a long time. Then he said, the interest rate will be high. Very high. Because everyone will know I loaned money to a king who supposedly has tons of gold. They'll think I'm crazy. They'll think it's a scam. I'll have to pay a price for this too. What rate? Musa asked. 40%, Hassan said. You'll pay back 70,000 dinars total, Abu Bakr gasped. 40%? That's robbery. But Musa held up his hand. It's fair. The governor is taking a huge risk. His reputation will suffer too. We'll pay 40%. Hassan stood up. Give me 2 days. I'll need to gather the silver from different sources. And Mansa Musa? Yes? You'll have to make a public announcement. You'll have to tell the people of Medina why you're not giving away gold. If you don't, there will be riots. Musa's stomach turned to ice again. A public announcement, admitting his failure in front of thousands of people. I'll do it, he said. Tomorrow morning. That night, Musa couldn't sleep. He lay in the guest room of the governor's palace, staring at the ceiling. His wife, Inari, came to sit beside him. She was his favorite wife, the one who always told him the truth. You're doing the right thing, she said softly. Am I? Musa asked. Or am I destroying everything we built? Mali's reputation, our dignity, our pride. Pride is expensive, Inari said. It cost us 3,000 pounds of gold already, and it nearly got us killed in Cairo. Maybe it's time to put pride aside. I'm supposed to be the Golden King, Musa said. That's who I am. That's who Mali is. Without that, what are we? Inari took his hand. We're people who learn from mistakes. People who care more about doing right than looking strong. That's worth more than gold. Musa wanted to believe her, but the fear was still there. The fear of shame. The fear of looking weak. Tomorrow, he said, when I stand in front of those people and tell them I'm borrowing money, they'll laugh at me. Some will, Inari agreed, but some will respect you. And in 10 years, which group will you care about more? Musa didn't answer. He didn't know. The next morning came too fast. The sun rose over Medina, and Musa stood at the city center, facing a huge crowd. Governor Hassan stood beside him. Abu Bakr was there too, and Muhammad. His whole caravan waited behind him. 60,000 people who'd followed him across the desert. The crowd was excited, happy, ready for gifts. Musa's mouth was dry. His heart pounded. This was harder than any battle he'd ever fought. People of Medina, he said. His voice cracked. He cleared his throat and tried again. People of Medina, thank you for welcoming us to your holy city. The crowd cheered. Someone shouted, "Show us your gold." Musa felt like he might be sick. But he kept going. I need to tell you something important, he said. I need to tell you about what happened in Cairo. The crowd went quiet. Confused, Musa told them everything. He spoke for 20 minutes. He explained how he gave away too much gold, how it became worthless, how prices exploded, how people suffered, how the city nearly tore itself apart. I didn't understand, he said. I thought I was being generous. I thought I was sharing God's blessing. But I was wrong. I hurt innocent people. I destroyed their economy. I made their savings worthless. People in the crowd started whispering. The happiness was draining away. So I'm here to make a promise, Musa said. I will not give away gold in Medina. I will not hurt this city the way I hurt Cairo. I will not destroy your economy. The whispering got louder, angrier. Someone shouted, So you lied? You're not really rich? I am rich, Musa said. I have 60 camels loaded with gold, but gold only has value when it's rare. If I give it all away, it becomes worthless, and I won't do that to you. Then why did you come here? Another voice yelled. You came to show off, to prove how great Mali is, but now you won't give us anything. Musa felt his pride rising, his anger. He wanted to shout back, to defend himself, to give away gold just to prove he could, but he remembered Cairo, the burning, the riots, the crying mother with her hungry baby. You're right, he said. I came here to show off. I came here because of pride. And pride is what caused all this damage. So I'm here to do something else now. Something harder. He paused. This was the moment that would define the rest of his life. I'm here to borrow money. The crowd went crazy. Some people laughed. Some people booed. Some people just stared in shock. The Golden King is borrowing money, someone shouted. That's impossible. It's true, Musa said. Governor Hassan has agreed to loan me 50,000 silver dinars at 40% interest. I need this money to feed my caravan and to help fix the damage I caused in Cairo. The laughter got louder. People were pointing at him, mocking him. The beggar king, someone yelled. Mali must be poor. He's a fraud. Each insult cut deep. Musa felt his face burning. He'd never been humiliated like this. Never in his entire life. But he stood there. He took it. Because this was the price of doing right. Think what you want, he said loudly. Call me what you want. But I will not hurt this city. I will not destroy Medina's economy. And I will pay back every dinar I borrow, with full interest. Governor Hassan stepped forward. People of Medina, listen. What Mansa Musa is doing takes courage. He's putting your well-being above his pride. He's choosing to look weak rather than cause harm. That's not the action of a fraud. That's the action of a wise man. But the crowd didn't care. They were disappointed, angry. They'd expected gold, and they got a humiliating confession instead. Slowly, people started leaving, walking away. Some of them were still laughing, others just looked disgusted. Within an hour, the city center was almost empty. Musa stood there, feeling hollow inside. He'd done the right thing. He knew he'd done the right thing. So why did it hurt so much? My king, Abu Bakr said quietly. We should go inside. Musa nodded. They walked back to the palace in silence. That afternoon, Governor Hassan brought the silver. 50,000 dinars in heavy bags. It took 10 men to carry it all. The story is already spreading, Hassan said. By tomorrow, everyone from here to Mecca will know. The Golden King borrowed money. Good, Musa said, though his voice was flat. Let them know. Let them all know. Hassan hesitated. Your Majesty, are you sure you want to continue to Mecca? You could turn back now. Go home. Avoid more humiliation. Musa looked at him sharply. I made a promise to God. I'm going to Mecca to pray. Nothing will stop me. Even if it means more shame? Even then. Hassan bowed and left. That night, Musa gathered his closest advisors, Abu Bakr, Muhammad, and 5 others. We leave for Mecca in 3 days, he said. And when we get there, I'll face the same choice again. Give away gold and destroy their economy, or look weak and protect them. What will you do? Abu Bakr asked. I'll protect them, Musa said. Even if it costs me everything. Muhammad spoke up. My king, there's another problem. The loan from Hassan won't be enough. We'll need to borrow more in Mecca. Much more. Why? Musa asked. Because the journey home is longer than the journey here. We'll need more food, more water, more supplies. And prices will be higher now because everyone knows we're borrowing. They know we're desperate. Musa closed his eyes. More loans, more interest, more humiliation. How much total will we owe by the time we reach home? He asked. Muhammad did the math carefully. If we borrow another 100,000 in Mecca at similar rates, we'll owe about 220,000 dinars total, with all the interest included. 220,000 dinars. That was more than Mali's entire annual tax revenue for 2 years. How long will it take to pay that back? Musa asked. 12 years, Muhammad said. If everything goes well, if we're careful, if we convert our gold wisely and send the right goods back to repay the debts. 12 years. 12 years of being known as the king who borrowed money. The king who went broke on his own pilgrimage. There's one more thing, Abu Bakr said quietly. When we return to Mali, people will have heard the stories. They'll know what happened. Some might question your rule. They might say you're weak, that you're not fit to be king. Musa felt the weight of it all crushing down on him. His reputation was destroyed. His pride was gone. His wealth was suddenly a burden instead of a blessing. And he still had to face Mecca, the holiest city in the world, the place where everyone would be watching. We'll deal with each problem as it comes, he finally said. Right now, we rest, we prepare, and then we go to Mecca. Yes, my king, they all said. But as they left, Musa saw the doubt in their eyes. They were wondering the same thing he was wondering. Would Mali ever recover from this? Would his kingdom forgive him? Would history remember him as the Golden King or the Beggar King? 3 days later, they left Medina. The departure was quiet. No music, no cheering, just 60,000 people walking east toward Mecca. Musa rode at the front again. But this time he felt different, smaller, humbler. The gold was still there, hidden on 60 camels. But it felt like a curse now, like poison he was carrying to the holiest place on earth. "My king," Abu Bakr said as they traveled, "what will you do when we reach Mecca? How will you explain?" Musa didn't answer right away. He was thinking about the merchant in Cairo who threw his gold coin back, about the mother with the hungry baby, about the people in Medina who'd laughed at him. "I'll tell the truth," he finally said. "I'll tell them I learned that wealth without wisdom is dangerous. That generosity without understanding can hurt people. That pride is expensive, and humiliation is sometimes necessary. And if they don't respect that?" Musa looked at the desert stretching ahead, at the long road to Mecca, at the journey that had seemed so glorious 4 months ago and now felt like torture. "Then they don't respect it," he said. "But at least I'll know I did the right thing, even if no one else understands." As the sun set on their 4th day of travel, a messenger came riding fast from the east. He looked panicked. "Mansa Musa," he shouted. "Mansa Musa." Musa stopped his horse. "What is it?" The messenger pulled up beside him, gasping for breath. "Word has reached Mecca. They know what happened in Cairo. They know you borrowed money in Medina." "And?" Musa asked, though he knew the answer wouldn't be good. The messenger looked afraid to speak. Finally, he said, "The merchants of Mecca have tripled their prices. They're saying if the Golden King needs to borrow money, they'll make him pay for everything. Food, water, lodging, everything. They're going to bleed you dry." Musa felt the cold spread through his chest again. The merchants of Mecca were waiting for him like vultures. They knew he was desperate. They knew he had to reach the holy city. They knew he couldn't turn back. They were going to make him pay for his pride, for his mistakes, for everything. "How much are they charging?" Musa asked. 10 times normal prices, the messenger said. "Maybe 20 times. They're saying you'll leave Mecca completely broke. They're saying you'll have to borrow so much money you'll never pay it back." Abu Bakr cursed under his breath. Muhammad closed his eyes. Even Musa's soldiers looked worried. "My king," Abu Bakr said, "we could go around Mecca. We could pray somewhere else. We could—" "No," Musa said firmly. "We're going to Mecca. I made a promise to God, and I'm keeping it, even if it bankrupts me, even if I have to crawl back to Mali with nothing. But my king." I said no. Musa's voice was hard as iron. "We're going to Mecca, and whatever it costs, we'll pay it." The messenger looked at Musa with something like pity. "Your Majesty, they're saying you'll arrive in Mecca as the richest man in the world and leave as the poorest. They're saying the Golden King will become the beggar king." Musa stared at the road ahead, at the path to Mecca, at the journey that was supposed to be his greatest triumph and had become his greatest disaster. "Then that's what I'll be," he said quietly. "The beggar king. If that's the price of learning humility, I'll pay it." He kicked his horse forward. The caravan followed, 60,000 people, marching toward Mecca, toward the holiest city on earth, toward the place where Mansa Musa would lose everything. Mansa Musa saw Mecca in the distance, and his heart broke. The holiest city on earth, the place he'd dreamed about for years, the destination of his entire journey, and he was about to enter it as a broken man. "My king," Abu Bakr said, "the merchant delegation is waiting at the gates." Musa could see them, 20 men in expensive robes, standing with their arms crossed. They looked like hunters waiting for wounded prey. "How much gold do we have left?" Musa asked. 60 camel loads, Abu Bakr said. 18,000 pounds. We haven't touched it since Cairo. "And how much silver from the loan?" 30,000 dinars. We spent 20,000 on the journey from Medina. Musa did the math in his head. 30,000 dinars wouldn't be enough. Not if the merchants were charging 20 times normal prices. "Tell me the truth," Musa said. "Will we make it home?" Abu Bakr was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, "Not with what we have, my king. We'll need to borrow more, much more." They reached the gates of Mecca. The merchant delegation stepped forward. Their leader was a man named Rashid, fat and sweating in the sun. "Mansa Musa," Rashid said with a fake smile. "Welcome to Mecca. We've heard so much about you." "I'm sure you have," Musa said coldly. "Word travels fast," Rashid continued. "We heard about Cairo, about Medina, about your financial difficulties." The other merchants snickered. Musa felt his face burning, but he kept his expression calm. "What are your prices?" he asked. Rashid pulled out a scroll. Let's see. For your caravan of 60,000 people to stay in Mecca for 2 weeks, we'll need to provide food, water, and lodging. Normally, this would cost about 5,000 dinars. And your price? Musa asked, though he already knew it would be bad. 100,000 dinars, Rashid said with his fake smile. Abu Bakr gasped. 100,000? That's 20 times the normal price. Supply and demand, Rashid said, shrugging. You need what we have. We can charge what we want. Besides, you're the richest man in the world, aren't you? Surely you can afford it. Musa wanted to punch the smile off Rashid's face, but violence wouldn't help. Nothing would help except paying. I don't have 100,000 dinars, Musa said. Rashid's smile got bigger. Then I suppose you'll need to borrow it. Lucky for you. I know some lenders. At what interest rate? Muhammad asked. 50%, Rashid said. You'll pay back 150,000 dinars total. The numbers were crushing. 50,000 borrowed in Medina at 40% meant 70,000 owed. 100,000 borrowed here at 50% meant 150,000 owed. Total, 220,000 dinars. More than Mali earned in 2 years. I'll need to see the loan terms in writing, Musa said. Of course, Your Majesty, Rashid said, still smiling. We'll have everything ready by tomorrow. In the meantime, please camp outside the city. Once the loan is signed, you may enter. They set up camp in the desert outside Mecca. That night, Musa couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. He just sat in his tent, staring at nothing. Inari came to sit with him again. You should eat something, she said gently. I'm not hungry. You haven't eaten in 2 days. Musa looked at her, his favorite wife. The woman who'd followed him across the desert, who'd watched his humiliation, who'd never complained once. I've destroyed everything, he said. Mali's reputation, our wealth, our dignity. And for what? To pray in Mecca? Was it worth it? Inari took his hand. You haven't destroyed everything. You've learned something. What? That I'm a fool? That wealth isn't what you thought it was, she said. That generosity can be selfish. That pride is expensive. That humility is hard, but necessary. Those are expensive lessons, Musa said bitterly. Yes, Inari agreed. But you needed to learn them, and Mali needed you to learn them. If you'd gone home still thinking gold solved everything, still thinking generosity meant giving everything away, still thinking pride was more important than wisdom, you would have made bigger mistakes later. Musa hadn't thought of it that way. He'd been so focused on his failure, he hadn't considered what he'd learned. The merchants are robbing me, he said. They know I'm desperate. They're bleeding me dry. I know, Inari said. But you chose this. You could have turned back. You could have gone around Mecca. You could have given up. But you didn't. You chose to keep your promise to God, even though it cost you everything. That's not weakness. That's strength. It doesn't feel like strength. It never does, Inari said. Real strength feels like breaking, like surrender, like losing everything you thought mattered. But you're still here, still moving forward, still doing what's right even when it hurts. That's strength. Musa wanted to believe her. But the shame was still there, the fear, the sense of failure. Tomorrow I'll sign the loan papers, he said. And then we'll enter Mecca, the holiest city on earth. And I'll pray. I'll ask God if this was all worth it. What do you think God will say? Inari asked. Musa closed his eyes. I don't know. Maybe that I was a fool. Maybe that pride comes before destruction. Maybe that wealth is a test I failed. Or maybe, Inari said softly, God will say you finally learned what wealth is really for. Not for showing off, not for proving how great you are, but for helping people, for doing good, for fixing mistakes. Musa opened his eyes. How do I fix this? Cairo is still broken. Their economy is still destroyed. How do I fix it? You've already started, Inari said. You sent 20,000 dinars back to Cairo. You stopped giving away gold. You're learning. You're changing. That's how you fix it. One step at a time. The next morning, Musa signed the loan papers. His hand shook as he wrote his name. 100,000 dinars at 50% interest. To be repaid within 12 years. If he failed to repay, the lenders could seize Mali's trade routes. It was the worst contract he'd ever signed. But he had no choice. Welcome to Mecca, Your Majesty, Rashid said with his awful smile. Enjoy your stay. They entered the holy city at noon. It was beautiful. White buildings. Cool shade. The sound of prayers echoing from the mosques. But Musa barely saw any of it. He was too tired, too broken, too ashamed. They went straight to the Grand Mosque. 60,000 people, all there to pray. To fulfill the pilgrimage that every Muslim was supposed to make once in their lifetime. Musa walked into the mosque slowly. He felt like he was carrying all the gold from his 60 camels on his shoulders. The weight of his mistakes, the weight of his pride, the weight of everything he'd done wrong. He knelt on the floor. Around him, thousands of people were praying. But Musa felt alone. He put his forehead on the ground and prayed. Not the formal prayers. Not the words everyone else was saying. He prayed from his heart. God, he whispered. I came here to show the world how blessed I am. How great Mali is. How much you love me. But I was wrong about everything. I thought wealth was a blessing to display. I thought generosity meant giving everything away. I thought pride was strength. I was wrong. I hurt people. I destroyed economies. I made gold worthless and lives difficult. I failed. I'm sorry. He stayed there, forehead pressed to the floor, for a long time. Tears ran down his face. He didn't try to stop them. I don't know how to fix this, he prayed. I don't know how to make it right. I'm going home broke and humiliated. My people will doubt me. History will mock me. But if this is what it takes to learn humility, to learn wisdom, to learn that wealth is a responsibility, not a trophy, then I accept it. I accept the shame. I accept the loss. I accept everything. Just please, help me do better. Help me be better. Help me fix what I broke. When he finally lifted his head, the sun was setting. He'd been praying for hours. Abu Bakr was waiting for him at the entrance. My king, are you all right? No, Musa said honestly. But I will be. They stayed in Mecca for 2 weeks. Every day, Musa prayed. Every day, he felt a little lighter, a little clearer, a little more at peace. He met with scholars. He learned about economics. He learned why his generosity had caused so much damage. He learned that wealth was about balance, not excess. That giving had to be smart, not just generous. That pride destroyed more than it built. On the last day in Mecca, Musa gathered his advisors. When we get home, he said, things are going to change. We're going to send representatives to Cairo, to Medina, to every place I damaged. We're going to help them stabilize their economies. We're going to do it right this time. How? Muhammad asked. We're broke. We owe 220,000 dinars. We have no silver, no copper, just gold that's worthless in half the world now. Then we'll be creative, Musa said. We'll send goods instead of gold. Salt, ivory, textiles, things with real value. We'll trade smart. We'll rebuild slowly. And we'll pay back every dinar we borrowed, even if it takes 12 years. The people of Mali might not support this, Abu Bakr warned. When they hear what happened, they might rebel. They might say you're weak. Then I'll prove them wrong, Musa said. Not with gold, not with displays of wealth, but with wisdom, with good leadership, with humility. I'll show them that a king who learns from mistakes is stronger than a king who never admits them. They left Mecca the next morning. The journey home was long, longer than the journey out, harder, but they were careful now. They used the 30,000 dinars they had left wisely. They negotiated for every meal. They traveled through smaller towns where the prices weren't inflated. They made the silver last all the way back to Mali. Musa was different now. He wasn't the proud golden king anymore. He was something else, something humbler, something wiser. As they traveled back through Medina, Governor Hassan met them at the gates. Mansa Musa, he said, I heard about Mecca, about the loans, about the prices they charged you. I'm sorry. Don't be, Musa said. I earned it, every bit of it. Hassan handed him a small bag. This is from the people of Medina. 20 dinars. It's not much, but we wanted to help. Musa stared at the bag. 20 dinars. From a city he'd almost destroyed. From people he'd disappointed. From a governor he'd humiliated by borrowing money. His eyes filled with tears. Thank you, he whispered. You did the right thing here, Hassan said. You protected us. You put our well-being above your pride. We won't forget that. As they continued west, back toward Cairo, Musa thought about those words. You did the right thing. Maybe he had. Maybe all this pain, all this shame, all this loss was worth it if he'd learned to do the right thing. When they reached Cairo, the city was still struggling. Prices were still high. Gold was still nearly worthless. But things were slowly getting better. The old merchant who'd thrown Musa's coin back was still there, still selling goods in the market. Musa found him. The man looked surprised to see the king again. Your Majesty, the merchant said carefully. You came back. I did, Musa said. And I came to apologize. What I did to your city was wrong. I didn't understand, but I understand now. The merchant studied his face. You look different. I am different, Musa said. I learned some expensive lessons. We heard you borrowed money in Medina and Mecca. We heard you left Mecca owing a fortune. We heard the Golden King became the Beggar King. All true, Musa said. Every word. The merchant was quiet for a moment. Then he said, You know what's funny? The Cairo you destroyed taught you what wealth really means. And now you're wiser than most rich men will ever be. Musa smiled sadly. Wisdom is expensive. Yes, the merchant agreed, but it's worth more than gold. They talked for an hour. Musa explained his plans to help stabilize Cairo's economy. The merchant gave him advice, practical advice about trade, about timing, about how to slowly remove gold from circulation without causing more chaos. When they finally said goodbye, the merchant said, Mansa Musa, you'll go down in history. But not as the Golden King. As the king who learned. I can live with that, Musa said. The journey back to Mali took 3 more months. 3 long months through desert and savannah. But finally, they saw home on the horizon. 60,000 people cheered. They were home. But the celebration didn't last long. Word had spread. Everyone in Mali knew what happened. About Cairo, about the loans, about the humiliation. Some people were angry. Some were disappointed. Some questioned whether Musa should still be king. Musa called a gathering of all Mali's leaders. Chiefs, merchants, scholars, generals. Everyone who mattered. He stood before them and told the whole story. Every detail, every mistake, every humiliation. He didn't hide anything, didn't make excuses, didn't blame anyone but himself. When he finished, the room was silent. Then an old chief named Bakari stood up. He was the most respected elder in Mali. His opinion carried more weight than anyone's except the king's. Mansa Musa, Bakari said. You made terrible mistakes. You damaged our reputation. You cost us a fortune. You came home in debt and shame. Musa nodded. All true. But, Bakari continued, you also did something no king has ever done. You learned. You changed. You put other people's well-being above your own pride. You kept your promise to God, even when it cost you everything. You admitted your mistakes in public. You asked for help. You showed humility. Bakari looked around the room at all the other leaders. I don't know about the rest of you, but I'd rather follow a king who learns from mistakes than a king who never admits them. I'd rather follow a humble king than a proud fool. I'd rather follow Mansa Musa. One by one, the other leaders stood. They all agreed. Musa was still their king. Musa felt tears running down his face again. But this time they were different tears. Not tears of shame, tears of relief, of gratitude, of hope. Thank you, he said. I promise I'll spend the rest of my life earning your trust, fixing my mistakes, doing better. And he did. For the next 12 years, Musa worked harder than he'd ever worked. He sent trade missions to Cairo, to Medina, to Mecca. He sent salt, ivory, and textiles to pay back his debts. He sent advisors to help stabilize the economies he'd damaged. He changed how Mali used its wealth. Instead of displaying it, he invested it in schools, in hospitals, in infrastructure, in things that helped people. He never gave away large amounts of gold again. He gave carefully, thoughtfully, in ways that helped instead of hurt. He kept careful records. Every year, he paid exactly what he owed. He sent goods worth 18,000 dinars annually, year after year after year. Slowly, Mali's reputation recovered. People stopped calling him the Beggar King. They started calling him the Wise King. The king who learned. The 60 camels of gold he'd brought back from his journey? He never spent them recklessly. Instead, he used them wisely. He traded small amounts for goods that Mali needed. He invested in projects that helped his people. He made every ounce of gold count. 12 years after his pilgrimage, all the debts were paid. Every dinar, every bit of interest. Mali was free. Musa was older now, grey in his beard, lines in his face, but stronger somehow, wiser. He stood on the palace roof one evening, watching the sun set over Mali. Inari joined him. "Do you ever regret it?" she asked. "The pilgrimage? Everything that happened?" Musa thought about it. About Cairo, about the loans, about the shame, about coming home broke and humiliated. "No," he finally said. "I don't regret it. If I hadn't gone, I'd still be the fool who thought gold solved everything. I'd still be the proud king who cared more about looking strong than doing right. That man would have destroyed Mali eventually. This journey saved me from myself." "You paid a high price for that lesson," Inari said. "Yes," Musa agreed. "But it was worth it. I learned that wealth is a tool, not a trophy. That generosity requires wisdom, that pride is expensive, and humility is valuable. That making mistakes isn't failure if you learn from them." He looked out at his kingdom, at the schools and hospitals, at the trade routes and markets, at the people living their lives, working, loving, building. "I came home from Mecca with nothing," he said. "No pride, no reputation, just debt and shame. But I came home with something worth more than all of that." "What?" Inari asked. Musa smiled. "Wisdom. The knowledge that real wealth isn't what you have. It's what you do with what you have. It's how you help people, how you fix mistakes, how you grow and learn and become better." "Do you think history will remember you?" Inari asked. "Probably," Musa said, "but I don't know how. As the Golden King, the Beggar King, the Wise King, I don't know. Does it matter?" Musa thought about it. Once, it would have mattered more than anything. His reputation, his legacy, how history remembered him. But now? "No," he said. "It doesn't matter. What matters is that I did my best. I made mistakes, but I fixed them. I was proud, but I learned humility. I failed, but I didn't quit. That's enough." They stood together in silence, watching the sun set over Mali, over the kingdom that had survived its king's greatest mistake and become stronger because of it. Mansa Musa had started his journey as the richest man in the world. He'd returned, broke, and in massive debt. But somewhere along the way, he'd become something more valuable than either of those things. He'd become wise. And wisdom, he'd learned, was worth more than all the gold in the world. Years later, when people told stories about Mansa Musa's pilgrimage, they focused on different things. Some talked about his generosity, some talked about his gold, some talked about his humiliation. But the people of Mali told a different story. They told the story of a king who made terrible mistakes and fixed them. A king who lost everything and found something better. A king who learned that wealth without wisdom was worthless, and wisdom without humility was impossible. They told the story of the day gold became trash and a king became wise. And that, they said, was the real treasure Mansa Musa brought back from Mecca. Not gold, not pride, not reputation, but the understanding that doing the right thing, even when it's hard, even when it costs everything, even when everyone laughs at you, that's what makes a great king. That's what makes a great person. And that's a lesson worth more than all the gold in history. The end.